Here's the deal, folks. Retire like you mean it. You're getting squeezed by coastal rents, HOA fees that read like ransom notes, and amenities that amount to a broken treadmill and a wilted ficus. Arizona flips that script. I'm talking sun 300+ days a year, elevation options from desert to pine forest, and towns where your neighbor waves instead of calling the HOA because your wind chimes are too enthusiastic. And the money. Arizona taxes your Social Security at exactly 0%, the state income tax is a flat 2.5%, and effective property taxes hover around half the U.S. average. Translation: more cash for actual living. In our picks, 6 out of 10 towns have median home prices under $350K, and typical one-bed rents land between $950 and $1,350, numbers you haven't seen in years if you're stuck on a coast. Healthcare access. Phoenix and Tucson anchor massive systems, and most of these towns sit 30-90 minutes from full-service hospitals, with new clinics popping up because retirees are migrating here in droves. Safety. Several of these havens post violent crime rates 20-60% below national norms. You want walkable main streets, dark sky nights, and grocery bills that don't make you bargain with your 401k. Good. Buckle up. We're about to crack open 10 hidden Arizona retirement havens. You've probably never heard of places where your dollars go further, your blood pressure goes lower, and your quality of life stops being hypothetical. Let's move. Number 10. Bisbee, Arizona. Bisbee is the kind of town that makes you wonder if time travel is real. Tucked into the Mule Mountains near the Mexican border, this former mining town turned arts colony has the vibes of a Southwest Paris, minus the Eiffel Tower, but with twice as many funky murals. Here's the kicker. While Phoenix home prices are blasting past $470,000 in 2025, Bisbee's median sits at just $239,000, nearly half. Rent. Around $950 for a one-bedroom if you don't mind your landlord also running the local coffee house. Crime rate. Nearly 40% below the national average, which means you can sleep with your windows open, assuming you don't mind the midnight sound of coyotes or a neighbor playing blues guitar on their porch. Healthcare. Sierra Vista Regional Hospital is just 20 miles away, with new outpatient clinics popping up thanks to the influx of retirees. And let's not ignore the weird factor. Bisbee bans big box stores in its historic downtown, so no Walmart. Instead, you've got indie bookshops, antique shops, and more galleries than traffic lights. Walkability is insane. You can get from your Adobe bungalow to a jazz club in 10 minutes. Downsides. Elevation 5,500 feet, so winters can feel like Colorado light, and parking downtown is like competing in the Hunger Games with Subarus. But picture this, sipping mezcal cocktails while the sunset paints the canyon pink, locals swapping ghost stories about the Copper Queen Hotel, and your biggest stress is whether the Sunday farmers market sold out of goat cheese again. Bisbee isn't retirement, it's semi-retirement with a side of surrealism. Number 9. Cottonwood, Arizona. If Sedona is the overpriced celebrity yoga retreat of Arizona, Cottonwood is its scrappy younger cousin that decided to keep the soul but ditch the Hollywood price tag. Median home price in 2025, about $365,000, a full 35% lower than Sedona's jaw-dropping $560,000 average. Cost of living hovers right at the U.S. median, which in Arizona terms basically means cheap if you don't buy wine every night. And oh, the wine. Cottonwood sits in the Verde Valley, a region that's quietly become the Napa of the desert, with 20+ vineyards, tasting rooms, and enough local Merlot to make even Costco jealous. Population over 65, nearly 32%, meaning you'll never be short on pickleball partners. Violent crime rate, 28% below the national average. Healthcare. Verde Valley Medical Center is smack in town, and Phoenix's mega hospitals are less than 2 hours away. But what makes Cottonwood tick is the vibe. It's quirky. Old Town Cottonwood looks like a Wild West set that someone renovated with espresso machines and craft beer taps. You'll find retirees running art galleries, volunteering at the theater, and arguing passionately about which local bakery makes the superior sourdough. Downsides. Summers get toasty, average July highs of 97 degrees Fahrenheit, which feels like you're slow roasting in an air fryer. But then you realize you're less than 20 minutes from Sedona's Red Rock trails and less than an hour from Flagstaff's pine forests. Picture this. A glass of Verde Valley Syrah in one hand, cool mountain air drifting down Oak Creek Canyon, and your neighbor stopping by to trade homegrown tomatoes. Cottonwood is the sweet spot between affordability, culture, and just enough weird to keep things interesting. Number 8. Globe, Arizona. Globe isn't just a town, it's an archaeological dig with a zip code. Sitting 90 miles east of Phoenix, Globe was once a copper mining boom town, but today it's morphing into a retirement haven for people who like their history with a side of tacos. And here's the shocker. Median home price in 2025 is just $215,000, one of the lowest in the entire state. Rent, roughly $850 for a one-bedroom, which sounds like a typo until you realize Globe still has more mom-and-pop landlords than corporate management companies. Crime rate, about 22% below the U.S. average, and most incidents involve porch pirates stealing Amazon packages. Yes, even here. Healthcare access. Banner Payson Medical Center is 40 minutes away, and local clinics cover the basics. Globe's population skews older, with nearly 30% over 60, so you won't be the only one with a Costco-size vitamin cabinet. But the real secret sauce is the culture. Globe is ringed by ancient Salado ruins and Apache history, and its downtown is loaded with Victorian brick storefronts turned into antique shops and Mexican restaurants serving some of the best carne asada in Arizona. Downsides. Summers can blast past 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you're allergic to dust, well, it's the desert. Good luck. But picture this, sipping coffee on your porch, gazing at the Pinal Mountains, while a neighbor drops off homemade tamales. Just because Globe may not have Sedona's glamour, but it has grit, affordability, and an authenticity money can't buy. Retiring here feels less like hiding, and more like rediscovering the Old West with Wi-Fi. Number 7. Patagonia, Arizona. Patagonia is the town Arizona retirees whisper about like it's a secret password. Tucked against the Sonoda Creek Preserve in southern Arizona, this tiny artsy enclave feels more Santa Fe than Phoenix. Population, barely 800 full-timers. Median home price in 2025, around $348,000, which is pricey for its size but still a steal compared to Tucson's $420,000 average. Rent is harder to pin down, because half the town prefers quirky casitas and Airbnb conversions, but you can snag a one-bedroom for about $1,050 if you know the right people. Crime rate, practically non-existent. The sheriff has more time to attend local art shows than chase criminals. Healthcare. Nogales and Tucson provide hospitals within 30-60 minutes, and Patagonia itself has holistic clinics that look like they were designed straight out of an Instagram influencer's dream board. But the real magic here is the nature. Patagonia is a birding capital of the U.S. Retirees with binoculars spot rare hummingbirds and hawks like it's a competitive sport. Farmers markets overflow with local honey, heritage beef, and enough organic kale to power an entire yoga retreat. Downsides. You'll need a car for everything. The nearest Walmart is 20 miles away, and internet speed sometimes feels like dial-up pretending to be broadband. But picture this. Strolling down a one-street downtown lined with art galleries, pausing to watch a mariachi band on the corner, the sky bleeding pink and gold over desert hills. Patagonia is what happens when artists, ranchers, and retirees all decide they'd rather trade stress for sunsets. If you want peace with a splash of eccentricity, this town has it bottled. Number 6. Camp Verde, Arizona. Camp Verde is the town that proves Arizona retirement isn't all golf carts and gated communities. Sitting along the Verde River, this place feels like the halfway point between cowboy country and modern suburbia. Median home price in 2025, $328,000, about 20% below the state average. Rent, $1,200 for a one-bedroom, practically a miracle in Arizona's inflation-blasted market. Violent crime rate is 25% below the national average, and cost of living, about 6% lower than the U.S. average, which means your social security check actually stretches here. Healthcare. Camp Verde is getting serious upgrades. New clinics opened in 2024, and Flagstaff's full hospitals are just an hour away. Retirees make up nearly 29% of the town, so you won't be alone in your early dinner reservations. The town itself is quirky. You've got Montezuma Castle, a literal cliff dwelling built 800 years ago by the Sinagua people, looming over your retirement walks. Then there's Cliff Castle Casino, where retirees treat penny slots like a team sport. Downsides. Summers can hit 102 degrees Fahrenheit, and monsoons occasionally turn the river into a mini Niagara. But the vibe, laid back, historic, and grounded. Picture this, floating down the Verde River on a lazy tube, pulling off at a riverside brewery, while bald eagles circle overhead. Or heading into town for Frontier Days, where cowboy poetry is performed like Shakespeare and everybody knows everybody else's grandkids. Camp Verde isn't flashy, it's functional, affordable, and quietly beautiful. Retiring here is less about showing off and more about actually enjoying life. Number 5. Tubac, Arizona. Tubac is the kind of town that feels like a living museum with margaritas on tap. About 40 minutes south of Tucson, Tubac bills itself as an artist colony, but that undersells it. It's basically Scottsdale's eccentric cousin who said no to traffic and yes to Adobe courtyards. Median home price in 2025, around $379,000, which is shocking when you realize Tucson's sitting at $420,000, and Scottsdale's blasting towards $600,000. Rent here averages $1,250 for a one-bedroom, but half the time your landlord's also an artist who insists on painting a mural on your garage. Crime, virtually non-existent. Violent crime sits 55% below the national average. Healthcare. Green Valley's facilities are 20 minutes away, Tucson's hospitals 40. Retirees make up over 36% of Tubac's population, so yes, pickleball tournaments are more competitive than high school football. But here's what makes Tubac wild: art is everywhere. More than 80 galleries line the streets, selling everything from hand-blown glass to $20,000 bronze sculptures of coyotes. Even the gas stations have art fairs. Downsides. Summers are brutal, 106 degrees Fahrenheit on a bad day, and forget Costco, the nearest one's an hour north. But picture this, wandering cobblestone streets at sunset, adobe walls glowing orange, mariachi music drifting from the plaza while you sip sangria under the stars. Tubac isn't just a town, it's an identity. You retire here, and suddenly you're a collector, not just a shopper. If you've ever wanted your golden years to look like a travel magazine spread, Tubac's got you covered. Just bring sunscreen and a second freezer for all that local salsa. Number 4. Payson, Arizona. Welcome to Payson, the heart of Arizona. And they're not kidding. Sitting at 5,000 feet in elevation, this mountain town is where retirees escape Phoenix's furnace heat without giving up city access. Median home price in 2025, $355,000, still far cheaper than Flagstaff's $470,000. Median rent hovers around $1,350 for a one-bedroom, which feels almost reasonable given the pine forest setting. Crime, 30% below the national average. Healthcare. Banner Payson Medical Center is right in town, plus Phoenix hospitals are just 90 minutes down the Beeline Highway. Retirees make up a whopping 38% of the population, so good luck finding a pickleball court without a waiting list. But Payson's charm isn't just affordability, it's climate. Summers here top out at 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which in Arizona terms feels like springtime. Winters. Light snow, cozy fires, but nothing like the snowpocalypse of Flagstaff. Downsides. You'll need snow tires a few times a year, and the elk traffic jams are real. Yes, actual elk just stand in the middle of highways like they own the place. But picture this, crisp mountain air, fishing at nearby Green Valley Lake, or wandering through the Tonto Natural Bridge State Park, the world's largest travertine arch. Payson's vibe is small-town Americana with mountain flair. Think rodeos in summer, chili cook-offs in fall, and neighbors who still wave when you drive by. Retiring here feels like pressing pause on chaos. And bonus, internet speeds just got a major upgrade in 2024, fiber broadband, so you can stream grandkid videos without waiting 6 hours. Payson is peace, pine trees, and just enough weird festivals to keep life interesting. Number 3. Sierra Vista, Arizona. Sierra Vista is Arizona's most under-the-radar retirement jackpot, and here's why. It's one of the only towns where affordability meets world-class scenery. Nestled against the Huachuca Mountains, Sierra Vista's median home price in 2025 is a jaw-dropping $279,000, a full 40% below Arizona's state average. Rent for a one-bedroom, around $1,050. Cost of living, 12% lower than the U.S. average. Violent crime rate is 35% below national levels, and most of it is petty theft involving unlocked bikes. Healthcare. Canyon Vista Medical Center is right in town, with Tucson's massive facilities just 70 miles away. Retiree population, nearly 30% and climbing fast. But the kicker, nature. Sierra Vista is the hummingbird capital of the U.S., with more than 15 species zipping through the skies. Retirees here take birding more seriously than Wall Street traders take stocks. You're also 30 minutes from Kartchner Caverns, one of the best preserved cave systems in America, and an hour from Tombstone, where history gets reenacted daily with bad mustaches and fake shootouts. Downsides. You're close to the border, which means checkpoints, and occasional news headlines that freak out outsiders. Locals. They shrug and go back to their golf game. But picture this. Sipping iced tea on your patio, watching the mountains turn purple at sunset, while your neighbor grills carne asada and insists you try it. The real way. Sierra Vista isn't just cheap, it's vibrant, safe and surrounded by natural beauty. Retiring here means more money left in your pocket and more adventures right outside your door. Number 2. Clarkdale, Arizona. Clarkdale is the kind of place that makes retirees whisper, "Don't tell anyone else about this." Tucked in the Verde Valley, just 25 miles from Sedona, Clarkdale feels like the quiet, artsy sibling who didn't want fame, but ended up charming everyone anyway. Median home price in 2025, $349,000, which is absurd when Sedona's pushing $500,000. Rent, around $1,250 for a one-bedroom. Crime, 40% below national average. Healthcare. Verde Valley Medical Center in Cottonwood is right down the road, plus Phoenix facilities are a 2-hour drive. Retirees make up nearly 34% of the town. But here's the wild card. Trains. Clarkdale is home to the Verde Canyon Railroad, a scenic train that winds through Red Rock Canyons and Bald Eagle territory. Locals ride it like it's a rolling happy hour. The art scene is exploding too. Historic brick buildings now host galleries, wine tasting rooms, and live music that feels more Austin than Arizona. Downsides. Summers are hot, 100 degrees Fahrenheit plus, and the town shuts down early. 9 p.m. is basically midnight here. But picture this, sipping Verde Valley Chardonnay on a shady patio, watching the sun dip behind Mingus Mountain, while your neighbors debate which local band deserves legend status. Retiring here means small town charm, artistic energy, and landscapes that make your iPhone photos look like professional postcards. Clarkdale is quiet, affordable, and surprisingly cool, without the Sedona chaos. Number 1. Oracle, Arizona. Oracle is the crown jewel of hidden Arizona retirement havens. Tucked 30 miles north of Tucson, this quirky mountain town has been flying under the radar for decades. Median home price in 2025, $299,000. Yes, you heard that right. Under $300K rent, $1,100 for a one-bedroom. Crime, nearly 50% below the U.S. average. Healthcare. Tucson's hospitals are within a 35-minute drive, and local clinics handle everyday needs. Retiree population, nearly 40%. This place is built for golden years. But what makes Oracle legendary is its combination of climate and culture. At 4,500 feet elevation, summers rarely break 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and winters are mild. No shoveling snow, no frying eggs on the sidewalk. Oracle is also home to Biosphere 2, the futuristic science dome that once tried to simulate life on Mars. Locals joke that if the apocalypse comes, they'll just move in there. The town's vibe is equal parts cowboy and hippie. Ranches, organic farms, and artist studios blend together in a way that somehow works. Downsides. Shopping is limited. If you need Costco runs, Tucson is your trip. But picture this. Waking up to sunrise over the Catalina Mountains, sipping coffee while deer wander your yard, then driving 5 minutes to a trailhead that feels like a national park. At night, the skies explode with stars. Oracle was recently recognized as a dark sky community, meaning you'll actually see the Milky Way from your porch. Oracle isn't just affordable, it's a retirement paradise that balances peace, quirk, and accessibility. If you didn't know it before, you do now. That's the list. No hype, just options that stretch your cash and shrink your stress. If you're done paying city prices for neighbor noise and potholes, pick a pin, book a weekend, and test drive your future. Arizona's got sun, safety, and real value. Now it's your move. Drop the town that surprised you most. Share this with someone stuck in a $3,000 apartment, and retire like you mean it.